for open houses, a house on a busy street can be a desirable open. It's not so much for a listing. It isn't, let's be honest. Most people don't want to live on a busy street, but for open house purposes, it can be really good traffic wise. I love that.
By hosting it for meetings
Mhm.
because of the way
What did you learn?
So I really like Kate. He had everything set out for you as someone that was hosting his open house.
Mhm.
Like they'll tell me, oh, so there are these sites that you just have to switch out. What is it? The writers?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So you didn't necessarily need like these signs. I didn't have the other signs because they're really, you know, where to put them. And it worked out great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love hearing that. Park, did you have any open houses?
I had one on Saturday.
And how was that?
It was the first open house that I had ever imagined.
Okay. Whereabouts was it?
It was in Blue Springs,
Okay. What was the price point?
185.
Here you go, good. 185, so the price point should have been pretty good.
I went around the day before, door knocking, passing out flyers.
Uh-huh.
So assuming folks would come.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good success just for.
Yeah.
There's the first one this weekend where nobody came.
Okay, this is my last copy, so if anybody else comes in, to give them a set, so they can make copies. Yes. Okay, anybody online that had any open houses this weekend? No? Okay. Well, let's get into the material. Let's get into the topic, and that is agent etiquette. No, I'm not Emily Post. However, some of you will know what I meant. Some of you will not. This is important because it impacts your reputation on you understanding how to be a professional in this industry. So we're going to take a look at that. Let me see if I can get us to the next slide. Here we go. Why it matters. Okay. Real estate is the relationship business. And we live in a tiny world of real estate. And your professional reputation is so important. Yeah, it is paramount. Positive contact opens doors to collaboration, and it can to referrals, while negative actions spread quickly. Megan, do we know about some not so good agents in Kansas City?
Yes.
And we all know them because they get
Same one.
Yeah,
Jeff's work for a third time.
yeah. Well, no, there's not just one, there's a couple. But yes, we hear this quite often about bad actors. About the same bad actors. There's not a ton of them out there, but your reputation is built over years, can be damaged in a single moment of you doing something unprofessional. So that's what we're going to talk about today, because you don't want to do something that is going to impact your business, because if other agents don't like you, as agents, do you think we have any influence over our clients? We do.
Absolutely.
Should we use it? No, usually we shouldn't, but we can be persuasive on why to accept an offer from one agent over another. We can be persuasive of why we might not want to go see that listing over another. And it may be for legitimate reasons and not having to say anything about the agent on the other side that we know is a nightmare. Okay. But professional etiquette protects your clients and everyone else that you're going to be working with in a transaction. So it's important to understand that it impacts not just you not liking someone, it can truly impact your business. So you have to understand that. That doesn't mean you have to put up with rudeness and unprofessionalism on another side. It's just how you respond to that and handle it that's going to be important. Yeah, on this program, when I do page down, it doesn't take me to the next slide. So here we go. Thais is coming in. So foundational mindset, keep emotions in check. If any of you, and I know several of you have had transactions, I can point to Amy and say, was there a little emotion in maybe some of your,
Which one? Is, the first one, there was a lot of emotions with the listing agent.
Yes, there
That
was.
I was very shocked about, and then, currently with my own person, my own client, there was a lot going on.
Okay.
So just remembering to stay above the drama
Mhm.
and, just keep saying transaction 2, transaction 3 for launch.
Yes, yes.
And just supporting her as best as I can.
Thank you for sharing that, because it's not just the other agent, it can be our very own clients. And we have to be the sane one in the room the whole entire time. Even if you feel like you want to tear your hair out and go screaming out of a room, you can do that, but you cannot show the parties that behavior. You have to stay cool, calm, and collected, because that's what's going to get you to the finish line. Getting emotional when there's already, it is rare that there is no emotion in a transaction. And some of it can just be excitement and nervousness. But there's always emotion in a transaction, at least that I have experienced in one fashion or another. And it is up to us, Amy.
I had a dream last night that she asked me to be included on the correspondence between the TC, the title, the mortgage, for her own sale.
Oh, yeah.
And then I went, wait, did that really happen? I should probably have a response for that ready to go, because she will ask that.
Yeah.
She's already asked if she can get on the phone with me to call other agents. Why do you call them in between houses? I want to be on that call. But she wants to like hold them. And I'm like, no, we can't play hardball like that, because they could just walk away.
Yeah. We have to look like we're good to work with.
Yeah, no.
Ooh. Yeah, you have to be the objective guide throughout the whole process. Come from curiosity. It's going to be easy to want to jump to conclusion. Oh, the agent knew that. Oh, the seller knew that. Oh, the buyer knew that. Oh, the co-op agent knew that. Oh, the lender knew that. Come from curiosity. There may be more to the story than what you're actually seeing and hearing in the beginning. And you need to, before you react, ask a lot of questions so that you truly understand the situation. Because when you jump to conclusions, then that can just escalate when maybe that wasn't really what was going on, or that you didn't have clarity. Thus, you came to a different conclusion than what reality was. So be very careful, because I hear it all the time in transactions and I experienced it. A buyer would say to me, oh, the seller knew that, or and I'd be like, I don't know that. That's not factual. I don't know that. Let's come from curiosity. Let's ask good questions so we can get clarity on something. But you really want to come from curiosity. It's personal, not business. For your clients, this is one of their biggest purchases or financial moments, be they a buyer or seller. And that's why I'm going to tell you, it is hard for there not to be emotions, because for our clients, it's a personal transaction, not a business transaction. I thought people would think more business-like in buying and selling homes, and that was a rude awakening for me. I was like, what's wrong with these people? Just chill. I didn't understand. So I had to understand and put myself in their shoes and what they were going through to understand better why they were having these emotional responses. And sometimes it was external things. I had some sellers and the husband and wife, well, especially the husband would yell at me. This was somebody I knew from my previous work. Well, he had moved to the new job. He left his wife at home with 3 kids under 10 and with the responsibility of this house and selling it. And so they were yelling at each other, and then he would yell at me. And I'm like, dang, this sucks. I did fire that client because he was not reasonable, and he'd say, just sell my house. And like, I'd show him, we need to lower the price and here's why, and all of the, the market information. He goes, I don't want to see that. And I said, well, if seeing and understanding the market is not something you find important, and us getting to the right price, I can't force somebody to buy your house. So we're probably not a match. And I had to fire him. Well, he was gonna fire me. I mean, it was like, we were just like, oh my gosh. But he yelled at me, but it was because his wife was yelling at him. It was because of the pressure that they were under that I got brought into. And we do get brought into these things. And it makes it hard. Here it goes. So communication is really addresses most of the issues we have. Timeliness is non-negotiable. When you are in a transaction, and you're working with clients and you're submitting an offer, negotiating an offer, what have you, you need to respond to calls and texts and emails promptly. And even if you can't give a detailed response, you say, received your text, I'll get back to you later. You do not ignore it. Because know that, don't get mad at an agent who doesn't call you back in 2 hours. Because they're most likely with a client, they could be out showing properties. Unless I was in the middle of negotiating, when I was with a client, I was with a client. I didn't take other calls unless I knew it was urgent. I didn't answer emails unless it was urgent. But you can definitely make a text message and say, I'll get back to you later. You can do that. The full voicemail or email trap. If you're not very good at organizing and managing communications, it's going to reflect on your professionalism. If I call you and your voicemail is full, or you don't have a voicemail even set up, a lot of younger people don't. My daughter didn't for the longest time ever have her voicemail set up. She goes, I don't want voicemail. Well, now that she's in the professional world, she has to at least have something on there instead of nothing. But it is not uncommon for me to make a communication to someone and their voicemail is full or their email is full. You need to dedicate time to manage your communications. And I'm going to tell you that you need to make certain on like email, are you cleaning it and managing it every day? Because you're going to get, how many communications do you get during a transaction? Yeah, Hark's like, whoa. Amy's like, whoa.
It's a lot, and then it's intermingled with like brokers opens and price reduction. I think I get 150 of those a day.
Yes.
So trying to like carefully delete those while not missing what matters. It almost feels like I need 2 emails.
Well,
I need the junk email for real estate, and then I need this is legit.
and you need to be able to, I have folder for every transaction, every client. You have to have those because you trying to then go back through, even if you've answered something, you going through all of that and not being able to find stuff very quickly.
I have a suggestion for that. I open a folder for every client, then when an email comes in on that client, I dump it in the folder.
Right.
I go to my emails every morning, get rid of what I don't need,
That's very.
then I go back to my clients and go and deal with emails.
Cause I just,
Because it's
like
so
the
easy to
search,
look
but
at it,
yeah, it's so
yeah.
much better.
Then like,
Yeah.
oh, I forgot to go back and check on it, and then I accidentally deleted it.
Yeah,
But I
oh,
put it in the folder first, it always stays in my client file.
Yes.
It's just a good business practice.
Okay, thank you.
Because
Yeah.
then it's housed in a place. I do that with you all. You all, I have I have a launch folder for each of you. So every time I communicate with you or send you something, it goes in that folder. So if I'm thinking, oh, did I send Hart such and such? I can go in there and, oh yeah, I did. Oh, he responded to that. I can easily see that instead of me searching. You have to have control of your communications. Set clear expectations. If you can't respond right away, again, let people know. Also, does your voicemail, do you have hours of business? And have you set those and said those on your voicemail? If you call the tailor-made team, Leah or Chad, it says their hours of business, and that if you call after those hours, that they'll go back to you tomorrow. Now, they of course tell their clients, if we're in the middle of negotiating, then we'll do whatever it takes, and we'll certainly be communicating with you. But otherwise, we'll get back to you tomorrow. You can leave a message, send a text message, or send an email.
Contacting Michelle. Property investment. And my buyer was like, why has he not contacted us? This was within like, while we're still out showing, and I said, because he's a really well-boundary agent. He may be at the lake, he may be with family, like, I bet he gets back to us this week, April, but it's right now. Actually, it was Sunday morning, it was like, chill.
But that's putting
I knew
boundaries.
he had good boundaries, they have boundaries, and
Mhm.
that's a thing.
It is a thing, and it can be a thing for you.
Yeah.
Don't think that it can't be. If people are turned off by that, they're probably not a very good partner client.
That's what I realized is really being so this difficult client I have is if things are just awry, it's me needing to establish better boundaries for us, because then it can be more consistent, whether she like chooses to follow.
Well, and here's the thing, if you don't put boundaries, then there are clients who will try to rule the transaction. They'll try to take charge. If you don't say, here's a perfect example, when you set showings for a client, you need to tell them the start time and when you expect to be done. If you don't, they think they have you for that time and even more, and they'll say, well, let's go see another house. And if you haven't said, I have us scheduled from 1 to 3 to go see houses up front, it's notorious that they want to do something else, see something else. They found something on their app, Douglas.
So like, let's say you schedule one client from 1 to 3, but you also may schedule another client from 3:30 or 4 o'clock to 6 or something.
Yeah, be careful. I would give a good hour between those two appointments. I would. It is hard. You can get yourself in trouble doing back-to-backs. You think you're gonna have all the time in the world, but it doesn't always go that way. Professional image, punctuality problem. Agents have a bad reputation for being late. Break the stereotype. Now, I'm not gonna beat on agents. Yes, we do have a very bad reputation. We say, oh, they're on agent time. Have you heard us say that? Yeah, we're on agent time, especially like for meetings and stuff. Oh, they're on agent time. They come in late. But in our world, I'll tell you why it happens. And that's the reason why I'm not gonna go hard on agents is, remember, most of you are solo practitioners and you're juggling everything yourself. You may have the best of intentions to get someplace on time, but that showings that you had from 1 to 3, that went 1 to 4, that you had to race then across town and you got stuck in traffic and you didn't get there on time, or something blew up at inspections and you thought you'd have time to get back to all these other people. I learned not to tell people I'll get back to them by a certain time, Because sometimes my day would blow up and I would feel horrible that I didn't get back to them in the time that I said. And it wasn't because I didn't intend to, it's just things blew up and I couldn't. And I felt terrible about it. So punctuality is an issue. I know agents who have gotten listings because they're the only one that came to the listing appointment on time. All the other agents were late. Don't be that agent. If you're going to a listing appointment and have never been in that neighborhood or that part of town, go there in advance. Drive that drive. Enter it on your navigation so you can see really what is the drive time. Is there any traffic issues? Is there any construction? Because if you don't drive that area, like if I was to drive to Olathe right now, I don't know if there's any construction going on. And I'm sure there is because it's summertime and there's always traffic construction, right? But I wouldn't be aware of that. So I need the help of the mapping so that I can be aware, because the normal time that it is in my head may not be accurate because something is going on. Dress appropriately. I'm not saying wearing a suit. I'm saying, don't look like, I like this. You're a professional service provider. Dress for the client you want, not the couch you just left.
I didn't have an agent like show up in like workout shorts, like a spaghetti strap. I'm like, no. I know it's hot outside, but I was really surprised.
And sometimes it's gonna happen.
She probably did.
And sometimes you will get a call because we do have lives. That's where that balance is hard. What I learned is I got up every morning and got ready for work.
Yeah, just in case.
Because when you have a listing or a buyer, and you don't have anything on your calendar for that day, you look, yeah, I don't need to clean up. I don't need to take a shower. I don't need to. And then you get that call because the new listing just came on and they want to go see it now. And you're like, right. So I got up and got ready for work every day. I did. Unless I knew I had something to do, again, we do have a personal life. So there are going to be times where maybe you won't be able to have that opportunity to get all cleaned up because you've got to go let somebody in or what have you. But most of the time you should be looking professional. That's where it says, always be ready to go. I was surprised at how many agents would say, oh, I can't do that. I gotta go get ready. And I'd be like, didn't you get ready this morning? Aren't you ready to go? So don't think that things can't happen like in a nanosecond, because it can. Be the true professional, go the extra mile, do more work. Client communications, be the problem solver, commitment to closing. Sometimes, and I've mentioned this before, but sometimes being professional means taking on more responsibility than feels fair. But remember, being the agent who ensures a smooth closing is the ultimate professional victory, regardless of who did more work. Don't get petty and say that agent's not doing anything. You can vent it to your good friend or to your coach and say they're not doing anything. Exactly.
They're very affirming. They always make you feel something.
I know, they're suck-ups.
That you're going through that.
AI is designed to suck up so that you'll want to use them again and again. My husband's like, it just told me that was a brilliant idea. I said, I know, it's a big suck up, honey. He goes, but it's a brilliant idea. And he's kidding, but I'm like, yeah, that's what they tell you. But there are times you're gonna do more work. Don't say that to your client. Don't say it to the other parties. Vent to someone in private. Because we do need to vent. I'm not saying hold it all inside.
Very helpful.
But there are times where you're gonna lift more water than the other agent or the other parties. And you're gonna feel like, oh, they're gonna get paid the same as me. Showing etiquette. Never enter a property without an appointment, even if it's vacant. I hear agents and even clients say, well, can't we go see that one? That one's vacant. Well, no, yes, but we have to make an appointment.
They still just can't show up.
And a lot of times there's a 1 hour, like, wait period. Sure.
Yeah,
Notify, even if it's empty, if you're like,
sometimes yes, you have to follow the protocol. Do not get caught in a house that you didn't make an appointment for. That's trespassing. That's trespassing. So do not do that. Be on time. The sellers, if it's an occupied home, you are most likely asking them to remove themselves and vacate their house for a period of time. You are inconveniencing them. And they may work at home, they may have kids. So remember to be on time. If you're going to be late, you call the showing service and you call the listing agent to let them know. Because sometimes you will get behind on your showings. Sometimes your client's taking too long or who knows what, but sometimes you get behind. So if you know that is the case, let them know. Don't just assume that because you're 15 minutes late, it's still okay to go in that house. No, it's not. The sellers may be back and in their pajamas by then in 15 minutes. You don't know. Or they could be starting dinner. I've seen many a dinner left on the stove. Sometimes I've actually turned it off. So please let everyone know if you are running late. Hi, Jody.
Like,
You are so good.
You're laughing time, you're coming, and it's the same.
Here's a modern reality. Assume, you're funny. Assume every home has camera, microphones, they've got a Ring or a Nest. Your actions and conversations are being recorded and watched. Sellers love, it's like reality TV for them to watch buyers and buyers agents come in and just talk about everything. And you talk smack about somebody's house, how do you think they take that? Badly. I mean, it can tick people off so much. Don't badmouth their property. Don't badmouth their taste. If you don't like the color of paint, that's fine. Just don't be saying that in the house or around the house. Because those Ring doorbells can pick up that sound, or they may have, like we have cameras off of our garage that you might not even see. That have cameras and microphones.
Last house I showed it once, we walked around the garage side and said, you are being recorded.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
My only was bad mouthing a different property in a really nice property, and I had to remind her there were cameras. Well, I'm not talking about this one.
exactly.
They don't know that, and you wanna make it off on this one. and you guys-
Start calling, start
Yeah.
chatting, so we're out by our
Done.
cars.
I'm gonna show the house and I would tell the client that, let's not talk about what we see or don't see or the color of paint, let's wait till we get outside the house and get in the car, and then you can tell me whatever you can tell.
Yes.
And then one time I was showing the house and, the house is sold, but that's what the agent hadn't put it in the.
MLS yet.
Yeah, and I was in there showing everything, and the person was still furnished and had all these little antiques and all this stuff. And I guess a silent alarm or something went off, and the owner came back, and, she was mad and raving, which she had right to.
Right.
And I said, okay, well, wasn't recorded that it sold. So I called my, brokerage and the agent that was selling the house, I called everybody, let them know. And I just sat there on the porch until everybody got there.
Yeah.
And it was smooth after that, but.
If you do set off alarms, that was a silent alarm, so
Right.
you didn't know. But if you set off alarms, vacate that house immediately.
Yeah.
Vacate that house immediately, because when the police come, they don't know you're an agent.
That was.
Don't.
What a good experience, but it was a learning.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, if you see somebody's making an appointment on your listing and you're under contract, or you've gone to pending, or you're sold, you should be reaching out to that agent and saying, oh, I am so sorry, we didn't change the status. Whoa, don't go in there. Because that would be as an agent, especially with a silent alarm and then having someone just go off on you, even though she had a right to, because she didn't know either. Oh, yeah. So we're not going to talk about the house. We're not going to talk about how we love it. We're not going to talk about how we hate it. None of that. We are not going to be talking inside or directly outside of that house. The next slide. hold on. Here we go. Nope. Showing for another agent. So someone has asked you to show a property. Ooh, this is so important. And B, basically they're showing agent. Your role is facilitator. You are there to provide access and basic information. You are not to become their consultant or their new agent. You are a door opener. You are to redirect questions, unless it's the basic questions that are on the MLS sheet, like how many square feet? Is there a finished basin? Whatever that is, if it's easy information, you can address because it's right there on the MLS. But if they ask you, do you think this is a good value or what would you offer, or that type of thing, you're going to redirect that question because that needs to go to their agent. So that's a great question for your agent.
What if your agent is on top of?
Is what?
What if this happened to me last week, I was the showing agent. And the agent was in Aspen on top of a mountain. And they needed to put an offer in. Right then.
Well, then that should have been a
And they hadn't reversed that, they hadn't said, oh, I'm out on top of a mountain. So
the listing agent was, or the buyer, the buyer's
the
agent?
buyer's agent, I was showing.
We'll get to that.
They needed to write an offer. That agent's calling me the next day because they won the offer only if they can up something, and I'm like. So I called somebody else on my team saying, look, I was like, whoa.
Okay, yeah, we'll address that just here in a second, but when you're out of town, what you should be doing. Never endanger the other agent's relationship with their client. Even if the client compliments you or expresses dissatisfaction with their agent, it happens. I'm gonna say, well, Jody, my agent's too busy. I really like you. I want to work with you. See, you know what? You actually have a great agent. And it is because of them that they made the arrangements to make sure I could show you this house. They went out of their way to make sure you wouldn't miss this house by making sure you had someone to show it to you. So you've got to deflect, because I've had new agents say, oh, but they said they liked me better. Oh, do you want to burn that bridge? Do you want to break that agency law? That's breaking the law, agent law. Don't steal the client. Don't steal the client. No matter how much you all kicked it off together and you were just like best buddies at the end. Again, you are there as a facilitator and that is your role. This is real and it happens. So I want you to be very careful about that. Respecting agency relationships, the bright red line, never contact another agent's client directly without that client's explicit written permission. This is a serious breach of professional etiquette and license law. No poaching. Do not coach, advise, or even hint at how a client could cancel their existing listing agreement or buyer's agency agreement. The best you can say to them is read the document that you signed with your agent. You cannot. That is going behind the scenes and you could actually be sued for torturous interference of a contract. Because you're interfering with a contract. That's not good. It's just not good. Broker tour code. Okay. Kind of the same. Respect the property. This is still someone's home, not a public space. Be mindful of your actions and comments. Remember cameras and microphones. No media without permission. If you want to take video or take some pictures to be able to post on social media, great. Ask the listing agent if that's okay. Most of them will be thrilled that you want to promote their house, but don't be doing that without permission. No on-site critiques, keep negative opinions to yourself. Remember the camera rule. That applies even to broker tour. Even when that agent is asking you for feedback, you're going to give constructive feedback. You're not going to tear apart a house. That doesn't help a listing agent. I always think about when I go on agent tour, I actually ask the listing agent, what kind of feedback do you need the most? What are you struggling with? Because they could have been saying to their client, the seller, we need to lower price, we need to lower price, pricing. Or the stains on the carpet upstairs. Then that's what I'm gonna put in. If you, because you're newer and you might not feel confident giving them price opinions, then I'm gonna ask, what kind of price do you need? What would be helpful? I don't know this area specifically, what would be helpful? Now, a good agent, not very many of them do this, should have comps there for you if they're asking you for price opinions. Because we don't all sell in the same areas all the time and we're not gonna be experts. And then we're gonna have some people just make up prices. That's not helpful for me as a listing agent, if you just make something up and write it down. It doesn't. I wanna know. Oh, Jed. Jed. Oh, look at that baby. I'm sorry, looking at babies. Never post negatively. If you've seen something colossus in a house that's crazy, please don't post that because that can come back to you very easily with a mad seller or mad listing agent. Unwritten rule of our agent world. Don't speak poorly about other agents. Now, can you vent to your best buddy? Yes. But even if your experience with them has been negative, maintain your professionalism. Your response should be neutral and pivot back to your own value proposition. That means when your client's asking about another agent or family member is using another agent and they're saying, oh, I don't like so-and-so, da, 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 da. Do not go and join them in the trash talk. You say, I don't know them personally. I don't know that situation. Remember, you never know the full story. You never know the full story. As a broker, I got burned by not, in the beginning, being new and not getting the full story. I just go with my agent's story. Well, sometimes my agents left out some very important details. And then I call that other broker like, oh, and this happened, this happened. And the broker would say, this happened twice, and that was enough for me to learn. Did your agent tell you about this, and this? No, that changed the whole situation. I'd be like, no, that's not happening again. That's not happening again. Open house etiquette before you arrive. Confirm, confirm, confirm. When you're grabbing an open house off of Facebook, the Facebook page, and the other agent's saying, yeah, go ahead, boom, done. Are you then following up with them to ask them, is there anything I need to know about this property? Here's what time I'm going to be arriving. Has it gone into MLS? Are you confirming all of that to make certain that it's clear between the two of you? Because even if the listing agent isn't going to that length, you should. Communicate your arrival, let them know, because the sellers need to know by what time they need to be out. Don't come an hour early and not tell anybody. Because the sellers are probably still scrubbing the toilet, wiping down a counter, making a bed, and then be on time. The sellers sometimes will wait for you before they leave, or they're watching you on the camera. And they will let your listing agent know, well, that agent you have holding open, they're 15 minutes late. Where are they? Or they left early. You're being watched. They could be at the neighbors hanging out, watching you from the deck. You don't know who those people are next door. During the event, assume you're being watched again. Do not leave early. If you have to leave early, let the listing agent know in advance. Now, my caveat is this, is if you do not feel safe, if it is a personal safety issue, leave immediately, but then call the listing agent as soon as possible and let them know the situation. Don't stay because you're afraid they're going to get mad at you if you are not feeling safe. Make sense? Safety is so important. Again, make sure when you're leaving that you're doing a final walkthrough. Is everything locked? Are the lights that you turned on turned off? Are the doors all secure? Is everything in place? Did you make sure that you cleaned everything? The lights off, thermostat reset, doors locked and secure, leave it clean. Leave it clean. Don't be all trashy. And if you brought cookies, make sure you're wiping down all your crumbs and everything. Take everything with you. I even took my own trash bin. I took my own trash out when I had open houses. Didn't want to leave any trash or anything. So again, you're making sure that it's locked, that you're going to then report back immediately to the listing agent about how it went. You're going to tell them that everything's locked up and secure, the number of groups that came through, kind of give them the demographics and how interested parties were. Were there any serious people with serious interest, and any specific feedback that would be helpful? And the most common questions that the visitors asked, along with suggestions for future showings, and then thank them for the opportunity. So they'll do that again and let you hold their houses open again. Managing your business, planning for an absence. Okay, Amy, you just said there was an agent on a mountain in Aspen and couldn't write an offer in a timely manner. Okay, our business doesn't stop when we go on vacation or we're sick. So you have to have a comprehensive coverage plan in place so that you can still provide the service you should be doing for your clients. And you need to make sure you have someone covering for you. So the first critical step is let the office know that you're going to be gone and who's watching your business. We get calls on a listing and somebody will say, I'm trying to get hold of so-and-so on their listing and they haven't gotten back to me. And if we don't know what's going on, we can't help. And we're like, I don't know, they're not getting back to us either. I didn't know they were on a mountain, right? So it's important because of consumers and clients might call. Documents may need physical signatures. An earnest money check might need to be delivered or deposited. And so the front desk needs to know where you are and who is covering your business. Don't think you can cover all of your business when you're out of town. You need someone to help you. And if they are showing your clients property, especially buyers, then they should be on the buyer's agency so that they can do anything that needs to be done in the time that it needs to be done. So, Kansas City real estate community is very small. Your reputation is paramount. So, all right, we're getting ready for the business meeting. Thanks. Did you guys get some ahas? Some of it are some of the things that we've talked about before. I just wanted to bring them under the umbrella of agent etiquette and how to behave and be a professional out there in our industry. So those of you on Zoom, I'm going to stop the share and you're going to jump on to the office Facebook page and join us for the business meeting. I'll see you there. Thanks. Bye.